A glass of rum, some ice, and a Friday night. What do you expect from a Turkish guy? I'm gonna talk about the Ottomans, of course, because I like to talk about it and I can't stop thinking about it ever again. I love it. I love my ancestry, I love my culture and everything. God bless. Um, I'm actually studying in the Balkans, in North Macedonia, Skopje, and it's a funny story how I ended up here, and I'm gonna tell it in some other time. Because today's topic is about actually what I've experienced and what I think about the Ottoman and Turkish influence. Although some people might not like to admit it, I've seen it everywhere, and right now actually it's just become part of daily life, and uh, I actually get surprised by it less and less. So when you first arrive, it can be Bulgaria, not Greece probably, but Greece to some extent as well, Albania, Macedonia, and ex-Yugoslavia, and so on. The and Romania, the place names and a lot of words. For example, to my Albanian friends, I always say actually, I say guys, every sentence that you guys speak, I can actually detect at least three words that's from Turkish. That's same as like Macedonian as well. Macedonian language is so interesting, and in the sense that it's a mix between Turkish, Ottoman Turkish, and like Bulgarian, or I won't say Russian. Like it's Slavic. It's just like a Turkified Slavic language, and it's so interesting. I like it actually. Like it sounds a bit like Russian to me because I don't know Russian. It sounds like Russian mixed in between like some Islamic words or like Turkish words. Okay, right? Some Persian, Turkish, and Arabic words actually I can detect, and although a lot of people don't like to admit that, and whether you like it or not, in the Balkans it's just, and in like the Arabian Peninsula to some extent, I think Ottomans and Turkish influence was is like a undeniable fact, right? Well, it exists. Let's not talk about whether uh, whether we're gonna fucking cry about it, Jesus, or we're gonna talk about it in a bad way, in an apologetic way. I won't do that. And like for example, the word "hayde." Macedonians say "hayde," or like Albanians do. It's like come on, okay? And it's "hadi" in Turkish actually, but it's actually coming from Old Ottoman Turkish, right? And Old Ottoman Turkish is just like the Turkish when I speak. I, it has some mix in. It's basically a Turkic language with addings and mix between Persian, Arabic, French, and English. Let's say right now, how am I speaking? And Ottoman era was like that as well. The language was like so multicultural. What the fuck? Multicultural in some sense, and it's so actually eye-opening and beautiful to see actually the influence and the like when I hear a person speak in their own language here, like I can actually feel and see that I see through their lips like the 500 years of the past, like who knows how many people have been like interracially married and then converted to Islam or Orthodoxy and so on, and it's wild to me. I mean, the food and everything, but there were like some couple differences. I mean, for example, the Rumelia Turks, the local Turks that are born in the Balkans, I have a lot of friends like that, and I like them. So, for example, after the collapse of the Ottomans, for some reason, their great ancestors or their ancestors didn't come into the newly established Turkish Republic for some reason, and these guys were mostly in like Bulgaria, Romania, and ex-Yugoslavia, right? And maybe Greece to some extent. So they're local Turks, but their dialect is different from ours. So, for example, in Turkish we say for school, okul. Okay, it's coming from école in French. It means the high school, right? Or we use like lycée for high school, and those are all coming from French. But they actually say mektep, which is coming from Arabic, which is coming from Ottomans use that like kitab, which is a book, katib, which means like a writer, and mektep, like those are actually my mother's an Arabic teacher, and I know a bit like katib. ketebe, mektep, kitap. Those are all coming from the same Arabic roots basically, but local Turks are actually not saying okul as I would. They're actually saying, well, I'm speaking like a proper Istanbul Turkish, right? Uh, just like let's say it's like a agreed official Turkish, let's say. Uh, but they're using mektep, for example, which is an Ottoman word for actually plane. We use uçak, which is uh, not an Arabic or a Persian word, which is just basically a Turkish word. But they use actually tayyare, which is coming from Arabic, right? Tayyar, which is like uh, I think it means to fly, or it means like a bird or something. I don't know. I'm not well versed in Arabic as my mom, although wish I wish I was. Anyway, so these couple differences are in between my kin actually, and imagine what it would be like for a Turkish guy coming here and actually hearing these words from like Slavs or like Albanians or like Serbians, maybe Greeks to some extent, Bulgarians, and hearing the words that actually we use daily in a different manner. For example, to pickles, actually we say turşu, and they say in like Macedonian language turşia. And I wrote an article about this in my university blog, and I will probably share it on the description. But the language part is that it's so funny in a bit, and it's so like my eyes, and it puts a smile on my face every time when I hear like Aide and like these um, tepik, çarşaf, like these things. I mean, it's so it puts a smile on my face and makes me think of like who was here and what were they doing and the consequences, everything of like 500, 600 years of Turkish rule, and it's still actually is visibly seen as well. There are like the most ancient things here, like the mosques and so on, right? Or the Roman bridges, of course, let's say. And I like the Balkans in that sense. It's interesting, and people are similar in some bad cases as well. I won't get into that, but yeah. Uh, they're more friendlier, of course, than like Western Europeans, right? Like Germans and English, in my view, actually, they can be a bit more introverted. But in Balkans, they're a bit more extroverted. Although in Turkey, I would actually say they're more and more extroverted, and Turkish people are more warm. Let's say maybe it's about the weather, I don't know, and also the food and everything. Like last year, actually, I asked a local friend and said to her like. Uh, dude, is there like a local dish that I can try? And they said like, she said like, oh, there's a great like hamburger place. I'm like, no, I want to try something, and they're like recommending me local food called sarma or something like that. Which I mean, I'm like, dude, that's basically a Turkish word. I can interpret it like I can. Uh, Sar actually to means to cover, and sarma to the thing that you cover up or something like that. Word is the word base is Turkish and add-ons are Turkish. It's so wild that some people are claiming that it's theirs. Well, it's weird, and the food is the same basically, but it's like the best food here is Turkish food, right? But it's not as good as the motherland, and but some of them are actually like börek, for example, they call burek, which is funny as well. They do it better here actually. Maybe it's because or döner actually is far better because there's not much inflation and like they use more meat and everything, and I don't know, it feels more fulfilling and refreshing, and also it's about the same price, maybe cheaper actually, considering we're eating meat. Like in Turkey, actually, we always eat like chicken doner. Like we don't eat beef at all because it's so expensive. And yeah, there are like subtle differences like that. But for the food and people, to some extent, you will feel at home as like a Turkish guy or a gal. And the interesting thing is there's like a old bazaar, Turkish bazaar, right here, and it's the biggest touristic place. And when I first got there, nobody like esnaf, like the shopkeepers didn't know English, most of them, and but they knew Turkish. So lingua franca in everywhere in the world is English, right? Like the common tongue that everyone knows. Like if I go to Japan or something like that, even though it's like thousands and or tens of thousands of kilometers away from United Kingdom, they will probably speak English, right? Or Korea to some extent, maybe China. That so lingua franca is English in almost every place of the world, but here in Skopje, especially in like the Muslim side, once you cross the Vardar Bridge and you enter like the Old Bazaar, which is like I said, one of the biggest touristic areas, the lingua franca is Turkish actually, and they have like their different accent, let's say, and it's funny to hear sometimes, but they're generally friendly, the shopkeepers and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's good. The food is good. You feel at home to some extent. Uh, if you don't even know English, actually, you can actually work your way around in Skopje because everybody knows Turkish. I don't know about the other cities. I think in Tetovo, which is like a city in the northern western, northwest side of Skopje, and it's near the border between the Serbians. Uh, in that town, they speak Turkish as well, I think. But I think once I don't know, like there are places like Ohrid and like some other couple towns. Uh, I heard that they don't speak English, they don't speak Turkish that much, so English is your best bet. I mean, you should know English at this point, man. I shouldn't be the one fucking telling you like a drunk Turkish guy at like 6 p.m. In the night, and actually uh, he's in the Balkans and he's just enjoying his time and he's recording his thoughts. Uh, I shouldn't be the one that to tell you like, bro, you should learn English. Come on, bro. Okay. So that's it. Yeah.